Hi, welcome back to Breadcrumbs Project. I am Captain Crumb. I am the company leader of the Breadcrumbs Project Company, and we serve under the 17th Anonymous Battalion, and we report indirectly to General Flynn. And this is your morning briefing, August 25th, 2020. And to report on what the Breadcrumbs Project is doing, we are a point of information dissemination and analysis. We follow crumbs, and crumbs make bread. And we like to say in our group, especially if you follow the breadcrumbs, you eventually find the whole loaf of the truth. And that's what we do here. We've started with the Q and have grown within the Q community and understanding the entire Q concept, which is a complicated one at best, but a mentally satisfying and intellectually satisfying journey in going through the Q and going to understand it, and then to be able to do deep dives. But it takes a long time to get there. You've got to go through your own boot camp. It is difficult for someone just to show you the Q and you go, oh, okay, I get it. And a lot of life experience and a lot of knowledge and wisdom that has to be accumulated for you to be able to take that red pill moment and begin to understand what the Q is. For those of you that have and have done so and are looking to work with the group to understand the Q map and the Q drops, that's what we're here for. So we have started from the very beginning, and this is a very good place to start. We've started with, today in my previous video, we started with Q drop number 1 and are working our way up. I'm not sure how far we're going to go in that journey. If we go through all the Q drops up to the 4,000th one that we have currently, 4,000 something, that'll be a great journey. But at least we're starting that journey. And something that came out clear in the third drop. The first drop was the 28th of October 2017. In the middle of November 2017 is when the president declared a national emergency having to do with human trafficking and corruption thereof. So anything that's tied to that comes under the jurisdiction of this national emergency. And what this national emergency did was put in play a lot of key military rules and laws that, because the media is so lost and controlled by a very dark and sinister entity that we haven't known about, they're not understanding the moves that are being made against them and can't counter them either. So now that a national emergency has been declared in November, the president can use tribunals, military courts, to generate indictments and to do prosecutions. I did not know that up until the day before yesterday, when the Q group lectured us on that. What does it mean when a national emergency is declared? No, what does it mean? And what does it mean to military intelligence? I was like, oh. So we don't have to generate all these indictments and this masterful plan using the civilian mechanisms. We're using military mechanisms. That's why there's no leaks. So much of this is being investigated, the really bad stuff, using military resources and not direct Department of Justice resources. That's why we're not getting all the leaks. And I'm one ahead on Robert Barnes. I am one ahead on Robert Barnes on this key fact. Robert doesn't feel like anything is going to happen to Brennan, and that this thing is pretty much over with this Kevin Kleinsmith indictment, and that there's not going to be much more to move on. Why? Because normal protocols and normal court processes indicate ... And more importantly, I haven't heard anything. I work in and around the DC community, and I haven't heard anything of any further indictments, any further activity, because as you know, DC leaks like a sieve. Yes, The president and the Q know. That's why all of this investigation and the indictments are being done outside of D.C. Outside of D.C., outside of New York, the New York City districts. But Durham is outside of that, in that northeast area, so he knows what's going on and has that command and control. But Huber is doing his investigations, and that's away from D.C. And then there's just a lot of investigations going on, and there's 180 some odd thousand investigations that are done with indictments waiting, and this national emergency declaration gave the authority to the president to be able to freeze any assets by anybody that is involved with child trafficking, human trafficking, human abuses having to do with trafficking, such as pedophilia, and finally corruption associated with those activities. So this national emergency, the president doesn't have to wait to freeze assets of these dark, evil human beings. They've already done that. They don't need any kind of court order to freeze these assets. It falls under the national emergency. It's brilliant. And in the number 3 drop that the Q group did, they said a very key line: many in our government worship Satan. What? What do you say, you? What do you mean that? I mean, the real Satan? Satan? I mean, or the metaphoric Satan? What? And it's not about Republican versus Democrat at this stage. It's simply good versus evil. And we've laid out the case of Satan. We'll be doing that in further drops, but right off the outset, drop number 3, not drop number 1, letting us know and letting Hillary know every move that you're trying to make, we've got counter moves. Drop number 2 was beginning to make the case of what actions are being taken. That Hillary had been detained, not arrested, and we saw the video where they were taking her in and detaining her. And if anybody has any questions, that was in the video yesterday evening. Or email me, and I'll go into it for the next video. I love showing that video of Hillary being detained. And then drop number 3, Q and the Q group let us know who the real enemy is. And it's not Republican versus Democrat. And it's not just America. This is a global satanic cult that has been truly running the world for thousands of years. This is biblical in nature. Yeah, I know. All right, this has been your morning briefing. I will be back on the air at 1 o'clock Eastern time with the hour-long show, and we're going to be putting together the crumbs that lead us to the whole loaf of the truth. I'm helping the bakers make bread. All right, yeah, I'm just picking up the crumbs right now. Gotta help where you can. Think good thoughts, do good deeds, say good words, and always strive for peace and your spirituality. Pray, pray, pray.